Cowboys Nation, what's up? Before we dive into this jam-packed, straight-up exclusive update from the Star, do us one big favor. Smash that like button right now. This Cowboys team is doing everything it can to improve, to compete, and to return to the top of the NFC, and here on this channel, we're matching that effort by bringing you top-tier Cowboys news, analysis, and behind-the-scenes context that you're not getting anywhere else. From quarterback rumors that never should have happened, to bold contract decisions that could define the future of this defense, we've got a lot to talk about today. So let's get into it. Let's start with the one that had Cowboys Twitter on fire this week, the Carson Wentz rumors. You might have seen it. A few outlets floated the possibility of Dallas being a landing spot for Carson Wentz, the former Eagles QB turned NFL journeyman. Let's just be honest here, this rumor is a joke, and more than that, it's flat-out disrespectful to Dak Prescott and everything he's built here in Dallas. The Cowboys already have what so many franchises spend years trying to find: stability at quarterback. At QB1, we have an all-pro, a leader, a man who has overcome adversity and still puts up elite numbers. Love him or hate him, Dak is the face of the franchise, and his leadership in the locker room is undisputed. So when a name like Wentz, a guy who's played for 5 teams in 5 years, a guy whose reputation is more about chaos than consistency, gets tossed into the Dallas rumor mill, you have to ask, why? Here's what Wentz is in today's NFL: a panic button. He's the guy you call when your starter goes down and you have no plan. He's a break glass in case of emergency. Quarterback. And that's not the Cowboys. We're not Pittsburgh or Cleveland, desperate for stopgap options. We're not running around chasing the ghost of 2017. We have a direction. We have a plan. We don't need a circus. We don't need a retread storyline. And we definitely don't need a quarterback controversy. That's why it made so much sense when Dallas doubled down on their quarterback room by drafting Joe Milton, a physical specimen with a cannon for an arm. Elite athleticism and traits that scream developmental goldmine. Milton's ceiling is crazy high, but to reach it, he needs time, guidance, and the chance to learn behind a leader like Dak, not get buried behind someone else's failed storyline. Add in veteran backup Will Grier, who's familiar with the system and not causing any noise, and you've got a QB room that's stable, structured, and future-focused. Bringing in Wentz would be like lighting a match in a room full of gasoline. It doesn't fix anything. It just risks blowing it all up. Now let's shift gears and talk about a major roster decision that just went down. And this one could shape the secondary's future. On Thursday, the Cowboys announced that they are declining the 5th-year option on cornerback Kaiir Elam, who was acquired in a trade from the Buffalo Bills earlier this offseason. Elam was once a first-round pick with sky-high expectations, but since entering the league, he's struggled. With consistency and injuries, he started just 12 games in his career, missed most of the 2023 season, and hasn't recorded a single interception in the past 2 years. Now, with Dallas choosing not to exercise the $12.7 million option for 2026, Elam will play out 2025 on a $2.6 million deal and hit free agency next offseason. What does this tell us? This is a make-or-break year for Elam, plain and simple. He's been handed a second chance by a Cowboys organization that desperately needs help in the secondary. Last year, Dallas was one of the worst teams in the NFL against the pass, and while injuries were a huge factor, poor play from depth corners also cost them dearly. By declining the option, Dallas is sending a clear message: we like your potential, but we're not sold yet, and that's actually smart business. If Elam balls out in 2025, great. He earns a new deal. If he flops, no long-term damage to the salary cap. It's a win-win scenario, but the pressure is on. The Cowboys' secondary on paper could be elite, but they're walking into 2025 with a ton to prove. Trevon Diggs is returning from a devastating ACL injury. Deron Bland is looking to replicate his breakout year and avoid the sophomore slump. Jordan Lewis is fighting for his role in the slot. And now, Elam is the wild card, a guy with first-round talent, but no proven track record. In the NFC East, where you face Jalen Hurts, a retooled Commanders offense, and a Giants team with new firepower, your secondary has to be airtight. The margin for error is razor thin. So again, smart move by Dallas. They're betting on Elam's hunger, not his resume. Let's zoom out for a second, because all of these moves, from shutting down Wentz rumors to declining Elam's option, point to one thing. The Cowboys are operating differently in 2025. No splashy panic moves, no distractions, no throwing money at problems. This offseason has been all about accountability, structure, and smart roster building. They brought in Brian Schottenheimer as the new head coach, an experienced play caller looking to bring balance and toughness. They reshaped the running back room with guys like Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams, and Jaden Blue. They added young, high-upside talent in the draft, including Joe Milton, who might be the most intriguing QB prospect Dallas has had since Dak himself. And they're making calculated, strategic decisions about the roster, not emotional ones. This isn't Jerry World chaos. This is football business finally being done the right way. Let's start with the big picture. By most accounts, the Cowboys nailed the top of their 2025 draft. In round one, they beefed up the offensive line with Tyler Booker, the former Alabama guard, who's got all-pro potential despite a surprisingly low testing profile during the pre-draft process. But watch the tape. The guy is a mauler. If you need someone to move bodies in the run game and protect the quarterback, he's your guy. Then in round two, they landed Donovan Ezeruaku, a defensive end out of Boston College who brings immediate explosiveness off the edge. He could start week one and give this defensive front the kind of speed and length it lacked last year after injuries piled up. From there, Dallas focused on depth, grabbing running backs, cornerbacks, and linebackers to stabilize the roster and provide insurance where needed. Sounds solid, right? It is, but there's one pick that's raising eyebrows among analysts, and maybe even some folks inside the star. The controversial pick, Shemar James in the 5th round. We're talking about the 5th-round selection of Shemar James, linebacker. Out of Florida, on the surface, the pick might seem like your typical day 3 flyer, low risk, high reward. But dig a little deeper, and you start to see why some are calling this selection the most questionable move of the Cowboys' entire draft class. CBS Sports' Josh Edwards broke it down like this. James lacks the ideal mass to play in the box and struggles to consistently deconstruct blocks. His missed tackle rate was too high. Dallas has an infatuation with those athletic linebackers with streamlined frames, which has likely contributed to its run defense issues. That's a harsh critique, but it's also a fair one. Cowboys fans know all too well. This isn't the first time Dallas has fallen in love with an undersized, athletic linebacker who looks great on paper but can't shed blocks or hold up in the run game. We've seen this movie before. Remember Jabril Cox? Or even the early concerns with DeMarvion Overshown before he got hurt? Freak athletes, sure. But not the type of physical enforcers this defense has been missing in the middle. So now the question is, did the Cowboys fall into the same trap again with Shemar James? What the tape tells us about Shemar James. Now, let's be fair. James isn't just some random prospect. At Florida, he showed flashes of being a modern linebacker. He can run, cover in space, and blitz effectively. His speed and range make him intriguing as a potential sub-package defender or nickel linebacker, but there are red flags. Missed tackles, way too many for a guy you want cleaning up plays at the second level. Block shedding, inconsistent. He tends to get swallowed up by bigger offensive linemen, especially in power run schemes. Size and strength. He's lean, not small, but not built to take on guards in the trenches. The Cowboys' defense already struggled to stop the run last season. Opponents ran straight at us, often right up the gut. And while injuries to guys like Leighton Vander, Esch and the rotation behind Micah Parsons played a part, the reality is, this unit needed a thumper in the middle. Instead, they might have drafted another finesse player who thrives in space, but disappears when it gets physical. Is it really a bad pick? Here's where it gets interesting, Cowboys Nation. Could Shemar James still work out? Absolutely. With good coaching, time in the weight room, and development under someone like Mike Zimmer, who's now overseeing the defense, James could eventually carve out a role. Zimmer knows how to mold linebackers and find creative ways to get the most out of athletic players with limitations. But here's the real issue. This isn't a roster that can afford projects right now. Dallas is coming off a massively disappointing season. The defense broke down late in the year. The front office is under pressure. The fan base is restless. And now you've got a team that's entering a new coaching era with Brian Schottenheimer at the helm, dealing with uncertainty around Dak Prescott's long-term contract, and stuck in an NFC East where Philly is stacked, the Commanders are surging, and even the Giants look feisty. This isn't the time to gamble on potential. It's time to bet on production. Draft patterns, the Cowboys' infatuation with speedlets. Also acknowledge something else. This Shemar James pick isn't a one-off. There's a pattern here. Time and time again, the Cowboys have shown an obsession with speed, twitch, and athleticism at linebacker. They love guys who can run with tight ends and backs in coverage, who pop off the screen in workouts. But that's not always what wins on Sundays. Ask any veteran defender. Games are won with fundamentals, toughness, and discipline. Linebackers have to be able to read keys, stack and shed, and finish tackles. You need at least one guy who's not just fast, but nasty in the box. And if Shemar James doesn't develop quickly in that area, Dallas could find itself in the exact same position it's been in for years, looking for linebackers off the street halfway through the season. So now it's your turn, Cowboys Nation. What do you think about all of this? Are you relieved the Carson Wentz rumors were shut down? Do you think the Cowboys made the right call declining Kaiir Elam's fifth-year option? And how confident are you in this front office's direction heading into 2025? I want to hear your thoughts, your takes, and your passion down in the comments. Let's get the conversation going, because your voice is what makes this community the best in all of football. And before you go, one more thing. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, so you never miss an update. We're just getting started, and if the Cowboys keep making moves like this, you better believe we'll be here breaking it down with you every step of the way. Until next time, go Cowboys, and let's get ready for a season of redemption.